Hello family, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Angela. Here on this channel, I create beauty, fashion, and lifestyle content, in particular for the woman over 40. Now, if you're not new here, you know that most of my content is all about fashion, but that is not the case in today's video. So recently, I started interacting with the Girl Get Dressed group, and in one of the meet and greets, I met a young lady by the name of Chaunte Hollins, and there was just something about her. Within probably 5 minutes of sitting talking to her, being around her, I knew that she was something special. Come to find out, she's a life coach. I knew it. Her spirit spoke to my spirit, sort of thing. I just knew there was something special about her. And I also got the pleasure of sitting and listening to her talk to the founders of Girl Get Dressed about burnout. And I said to myself, this is something my audience would love to hear. I think this is something they need to hear because it resonated with myself. So let me tell you what her credentials are. Okay, she has a Master's of Art in Professional Counseling. She has a Bachelor's of Science degree in Psychology. She has a certification as a Master Life Coach with specializations in professional life coaching, happiness coaching, and life purpose coaching. So she's been in this arena for quite some time. She said more than a couple of decades. And I am so happy to have her here. So please help me welcome Chaunte Hollins as she talks to all of us about burnout and everything that has to do with that and how we can benefit from the information that she has to provide. So Chaunte, welcome to the channel. Welcome to my YouTube family.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So you're gonna talk. Oh, your nails are gorgeous. They match your denim and everything.
That was an accident.
I get distracted real easy.
I understand. I'm on a fashion channel. I get it. I had to come correct.
They look great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. And I was telling the ladies that I was there when you talked about burnout with the ladies from Girl Get Dressed, and I thought that would be some information that they would all love here, and I think it'd be beneficial because I got some gems from it. So I assume that the other ladies will get some gems from it as well. So yes. Tell us a little bit about, I talked about you a little bit, but can you tell us a little bit about yourself and then go ahead with your topic?
Sure. I am Chaunte Hollins. I do business as Chauntology Speaks. I am the Strong Black Woman's Coach, so I'm a life coach. I am a certified Master Life Coach, and I really just help Black women shed their Superwoman status. We are in Superwoman mode all the time, and that is really destroying us as women. And so my mission is to help myself and other women just really shed that status so we can have lives that are fulfilling and fruitful, and we're not taking care of everybody else all the time. We are seeing about ourselves as well. And so that's what I do every day, day to day. That is my dream job. That is my calling. And so I'm also a court-appointed special advocate, so I have a heart for children as well. And so I work with children who are in the foster care system. We advocate for them to ensure they have what they need while they're in care and beyond.
Oh, wow.
And then I'm a mom. I have a 15-year-old daughter.
And she's beautiful.
Olivia. And that's part of the reason that I am who I am and I do what I do, because I know what I came through. And I want her to learn from my mistakes, but I also want to teach her so that she doesn't have to go through some of the same things that I had to do. So I'm trying to set a firm foundation for her. And then I am married. My husband's name is Reggie. Okay. And so we live together in 40, just living life like everybody else and experiencing burnout like a lot of us. And so ironically, yesterday I had a moment where I was just like, you know what? I am physically, emotionally, and mentally drained. I got into Arlington early for an appointment and was just sitting there. It's almost like you hit a brick wall. And that's what burnout can feel like, is hitting a brick wall. It's just prolonged stress that you finally get to a point, and that is the best way that I've been able to describe it, is you just hit this wall where you can't do, and different things are going on in your body, and we'll talk about that a bit. And I experienced that yesterday. So it is so fitting. And I knew this was coming. It wasn't planned that way. I don't know if God just said, hey, you're going to speak to the people, not just from experience of the past, but what you are in the midst of right now. And so as women in our age group, 40 and above, you and I talked about how we experience this a lot just in this age group, because we're raising children, or maybe our children are adults and they have children, and then our parents are of age to where we're having to take care of them. And so we're working, we have our own families, we have our own responsibilities. And so this is the age where we generally experience a bit more burnout. So it is definitely fitting for us to be having this conversation here. Yeah.
Another thing I was thinking about when I was thinking about that was not only do we have our children and sometimes their children and our parents and ourselves, our girlfriends, our close friends are starting to have issues, or we may have issues with ourselves. So all of that compounded is just a lot. And we also talked about, and I was talking about, well, when I was growing up, there was no such thing as burnout. We're just having a hard time in life. We're just going through, and the solution to that was talk to your family and pray. Those are your two options. You can do both, but that was it, and move on. And we really had no option. There was no counseling. There was no one telling us this is what burnout looks like, and this is what you can do when you're feeling yourself getting to that point. So
the things that we were raised and the things that we were taught really don't serve us well. Like, for instance, we were taught that what happens in this house stays in this house, right? And the idea was that you didn't go out sharing all of your family's business, right? But it really taught us to not be open with other people when we were experiencing hardships and we were having issues, and we were, it taught us not to say that, hey, I'm not okay, or I have something going on, or I need help. And so we grew up being told what happens in this house stays in this house. You don't talk about this and you don't talk about that. And so we didn't. And so now the very thing that we were taught to do is harmful to us. It's hurting us. Something else that we were taught was to never let them see you sweat. Right? And so we put on this game face, this facade. We wear these masks to pretend that we are okay, because we were taught to never let them see you sweat. And again, we get to a place of burnout because we haven't talked about what's going on with us. We are not comfortable saying, that's too heavy, that's too much, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that, or I can't do this, or I can't do that. And so those are just two of the things that we were raised believing. These are the rules of the house, and those rules of the house are now the very things that are leading us to burnout. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So when people ask, how are you doing? We're so accustomed to saying fine that now I think a couple of times people have asked, how are you doing? And not too good. And we don't know, like, I have a hard time responding to that as well. So I'm a hugger. I'm always like, oh, I'm so sorry. Can I just give you a hug? I don't really know what else. I'm here to listen, but we weren't even taught how to respond to that. Or what questions to ask in that situation.
We feel like we have to get it right, but you don't have to get it right. If you ask someone how they're doing and they are truthful and they tell you, I'm not doing well, you can say, I don't know how to respond. Can you tell me what you need? Or we can say, can I give you a hug? Like you say, you're a hugger. Or, if you have the resources, or if you have something that you can offer, then you offer those things. But you're absolutely right. We want to be authentic. We tell people, call me, let me know, tell me this, tell me that. And then when they do, we don't know what to say. And we don't know how to respond. Authenticity is is everything, but we're uncomfortable with it because it puts us in a place of vulnerability. And so we're in this place of burnout. That's why I was really open to say from the beginning, hey, I just experienced this yesterday, you know, because it helps people relate to you, and it helps people trust in you. I wrote some notes so I wouldn't forget, because there's a million things going on in my head right now. And so we already just kind of mentioned how Black women especially, we live in this place of, or in the state of burnout, and we don't even recognize it as that. It becomes our normal. And so when we do have a moment to rest, we're trying to fill that time with something, because rest even feels uncomfortable. Rest feels like we are slacking. Rest feels like, oh, there's a gap. I should be doing something in this moment. So now we're trying to find something to do.
It's very, my husband fusses at me. Like, it's very, very difficult for me to rest. Even if I'm sick, like I've been struggling with, I had surgery, I had a rotator cuff repair, and I'm not allowed to lift anything heavier than a Stanley Cup. And I'm like, how am I gonna be able to do that? You know, I need to be out in the garden. And my husband, like, for the first 2.5, 3 weeks, he made me, he probably would be like, oh my God, she was so difficult. Like, he would make me, you're going to bed. Like, because I couldn't even shower myself. Like, he would go and he'd have to help me with the shower, and I would fuss and pout the whole every day I did. And it just felt like, I know I should be doing something because I've always done that.
Yep. Rest is uncomfortable, but we need rest. These bodies of ours are carnal. They're, you know, they're made from the dust, and they are designed for us to rest. That's why we have to sleep every day. We're not sleeping just to be sleeping. While we are sleeping, our bodies are rejuvenating and rebuilding and, you know, and getting themselves back together, but we're not used to rest. And so what happens is we start having all of these body aches and these pains, and we have things going on. You know, it affects us mentally, it affects us emotionally, because we are operating outside of what the manufacturer says we're supposed to do for these bodies. And so it's like with our vehicles, the check engine light comes on, or there's some sound that comes on, and we automatically take it because we say there's something wrong with this. It's not functioning the way it's supposed to. The gas light comes on, you know, to go get gas, and everything that we do, our vehicles, we take them and we get them serviced.
Because we don't want it to break down.
We don't want it to break down. We go get them serviced before they break down, because we don't want them to break down, right? Our cell phones, we don't let them run all the way down to zero. We're watching the charge to see, you know, if it's charging. We know how fast it's running or working, or we need to go get a new one because it's not functioning the way it was when we first got it. I mean, we go get our hair cut, we get our hair done. We shower every day because now we're dirty. We've got all this built up, and so we need to go and cleanse this. Everything we do in life is geared towards things operating as it's supposed to, except us and our bodies and our minds and our spirits. We run ourselves down, and we run ourselves down. We go and we refill groceries, you know.
Yes.
We just talked about jewelry. We're always buying jewelry. I complimented you on your dress, and then I just remembered I did the very thing that I wasn't supposed to do. I wore white, and so
not white. It's just the centerpiece.
You can edit that out later if you want to. But
you can wear white.
But anyway, when it comes to other things, we understand the importance of maintenance, right?
Yes.
We understand the importance, you know, you and I are in the short hair club, and we understand the importance of keeping our hair trimmed. And even longer hair, you go and you get it trimmed and you get it washed, and we understand the maintenance. We understand the purpose. We just don't do it. And so then we get to this place of burnout, and then we don't know what to do. So I wanted to talk about some signs of burnout.
Yes,
And when we did this before, it was kind of telling for some of the ladies that were watching, because they could see themselves. Right. So here are some signs of burnout. Oh, and I didn't give my disclaimer. I do want to give a disclaimer. So I am not a medical doctor. This is not to substitute for medical care. If you have a concern and you need to see a doctor, please see a doctor. I do have a degree in psychology and I have a degree in counseling. So I'm not just pulling these things out of thin air. I do know what I'm talking about. But if you need medical care, go see a doctor. So inability to concentrate. I know that happens to me sometimes, where I just can't seem to focus.
Absolutely.
You know, that could be a sign of burnout. You're exhausted. You are physically exhausted. We can relate to that. We know what that feels like. But when you get mentally exhausted, it affects your ability to concentrate. And oftentimes we attribute it to something else. We say this person that's doing the lecture or the teaching or whatever is boring, or, you know, using too big words, or you are just not focused from the beginning. You are thinking about everything that's on your to-do list, or you find yourself staring off into space, and so you didn't hear what the person was saying when they were talking to you. So an inability to concentrate could be a sign of burnout. And I do know I experience that sometimes, especially if you work in the corporate field, or, you know, whatever you do, even if you could be doing hair or whatever. If you find yourself struggling to concentrate, that could be a sign of burnout. Frequent memory lapses. Now,
the problem with that is, here we are at menopause.
Right.
The devil's sister menopause is riding her back as well. So like, you just don't know what is going. That happens to me quite. That's why I'm a note taker. I have like a stack of 4 notebooks, and I'm just taking notes all the time because I'm afraid I'm going to forget something.
Right. And I say, if I don't write it down, it's not going to happen. And I will in one conversation say, oh, well, I'm at that age. I'm 45, by the way. I'm at that age. I have to write everything down. But then on the other side of that coin, I'm saying I'm too young for this. I should be able to remember when I walk in the other room what I came in here for. And so it's not always a sign of burnout. Sometimes memory lapses could be caused by something else, but burnout can cause memory lapses because you have so much in your head and so much pressure going on that you are fatigued. It's just like with the inability to concentrate. You are so mentally fatigued that your brain is not functioning in the way that it should be functioning in. That could very well be a sign of burnout. Difficulty making decisions. So not really so much as what are we going to have for dinner, right? It could be as simple as that, but more so in knowing what you should I confront this person? Should I take on this task or that task? You know, sometimes when you're so burnt out, you can't process what you need to do. And so when it comes to making the decision, it's like all of the synapses aren't lining up, you know, and so it's, you want to make a decision, but you have gaps where you're trying, you know, normally you can say A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and you know you can get to the end of the alphabet. But when you are burnt out and so mentally fatigued and so stressed, some of those letters are missing. And so when you get to the place where you have to make the decision, you don't have all of the information. Maybe you didn't gather all of the information. Maybe you forgot. Remember, we talked about the memory lapses. You forgot. Maybe you're since you're not at your peak, you don't feel confident enough because you have so many things going on. You don't have that level of confidence. And so sometimes difficulty making decisions is a sign of burnout. So one of the things that I think a lot of us in the last conversation related to was increased negative thoughts or self-doubt. And so that's kind of led into that with the last point. Just the negativity can be a sign of burnout because you're not functioning at an optimal level. And so we are our own worst critics. And it's like, oh, why did I wear this? I should have wore that. Or why didn't I say this? Or I should have done that. And what comes up sometimes is all of the shoulda, coulda, wouldas from in the past, things that we don't have any control over anyway. And so burnout, I mean, those are like some mental signs of burnout. Some emotional signs of burnout is feeling incompetent or unproductive. And I don't know how many of us feel that, but in terms of incompetent, society kind of backs us into this corner sometimes. If you haven't had children by a certain age,
absolutely,
then you feel like you are out of place. You're not where you belong. There's something wrong with you. If you haven't gotten married, you know, society puts all of these pressures on us. And I know you may be thinking, well, how does that relate to burnout? It's like if you are chasing the wrong thing, or you're chasing things just in general constantly because you have to meet this standard, you burn yourself out. And so now you're feeling like, I can't ever do this right, or I'm not smart enough, or I'm not pretty enough, or if I only looked like her, or if I had what she had, or if I sounded like her. All of that can fall under burnout because we have run and run and run and stressed and stressed and stressed so much, being disconnected from others. You're tired, so you don't want to. You know, someone invites you to go out, you look at the phone, you don't even answer the phone. You know, there may be nothing wrong with your relationship. You're just so burned out.
Just tired.
You just can't.
You ain't got no sleep. Then you're feeling bad about not getting sleep. Then you're feeling bad that you feel bad. That's just a horrible. I've been in a position where I've not felt good, and I'm mad at myself because I feel bad. Don't give myself a break and allow me to be human. And then that further stresses me out.
Yes.
Wow.
It's like a cycle. When you get to the stage of burnout, you have just endured just so much stress. It has been prolonged to a place where you just separate yourself from the people that you love and the things that you love because you just don't have the energy. We talked about loss of motivation, being critical or cynical even sometimes. So you're critical of yourself or you're critical of others, feeling trapped or powerless to change the situation. And so maybe you have a goal or you're in a situation that you don't want to be in, but because you're so emotionally tapped out, you're so emotionally drained, it kind of ties in with the mental signs, right? That your brain isn't functioning, your body isn't functioning where it should be. Remember we talked about the maintenance on the car. You go and you get all this maintenance done. By the time you've reached burnout, you haven't done the maintenance. And so
instead of needing the oil change, now you need a new transmission.
Exactly. That is exactly what's happening. And I love the analogy of vehicles because we all drive them and we know about them, right? And we can relate to that. So we don't wait until things break down. We get regular oil changes, like you said.
So how do you teach yourself if that's, I guess the first step is knowing. Right, but if you've not witnessed, you don't know what that looks like.
Right.
I don't know what that, I know now, but that's not something I grew up watching. We didn't take vacations because who had money for a vacation? I didn't see the beach until I was 18. And so even now, it's very difficult for me to relax. But if I'm on vacation, I relax. But that's typically only when I'm on vacation. It's very difficult for me to just sit and do nothing all day. Like all day?
All day? It takes practice.
All day?
It takes practice and being able to identify what you're feeling and getting to know yourself. So like you've identified that I struggle with resting, right? But it's so important for you to really sit and understand why that is. Spend some time with yourself and get to know why it is you're so uncomfortable with rest. And it doesn't have to be something that's super deep, right? It doesn't, it could be something that's surface level. It could be something as simple as I never saw anybody rest. And so I'm not used to that, right?
Nobody.
I never saw anybody rest. I don't know what it looks like. I don't know what it feels like. It feels foreign. That could be the only reason, and that's okay. But then once you identify why you have an issue with it, then start with baby steps. See, the idea, you automatically went to the whole day without doing anything, right? You automatically went to the whole day, and that's what we do. Start with 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Just 10 minutes of doing nothing.
I need to take a note from the millennials have this down pat. They have the counseling, I'm going to rest, I'm going to take some time for me. They have that down packed. I think it's just our generation who saw our parents, that generation worked the same job for 50, 60 years and retired and got the pension, and they went to work 5 days a week, 8 hours, and rarely called in. So all we saw was someone, my mother worked most of the time, 2 jobs. That's all I ever saw. And immediately when I graduated from nursing school in May and took the boards in July, I passed. So I started working as a nurse in July. By September, I had a part-time job. I had a full and a part-time job. So I've always worked a job and a half, like forever. So that's all I knew. And it's funny because all of my mother's children are like that. All of us are very, very hard workers. Like we will, take a vacation every now and then, but we are go, all of us.
Yeah. Have to kind of change the narrative, because you can be a hard worker and still make time for rest, right? It's even if you had to work a job and a half, because that is the reality for some people, right? Some people, in order to make ends meet, they have to work a job and a half. Some do it because they want to.
Right.
Some, like me, I have 2 full-time jobs. I have I shouldn't say my main job. I have my 9 to 5, and then by choice, I became a life coach. So, some of us do this by choice, but even if that is your normal, you still deserve rest. You need rest, right? And so start with 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and it doesn't have to be anything. You can sit right here in this lovely chair for 10 minutes and just do nothing.
I'm just gonna sit here. You know what I have. That's exactly what I'll be doing.
And see, what you might have to do is set an alarm.
Perfect. I will start it back over too. So the camera only runs for like 29 minutes and then it cuts off because it's made for pictures and not video. But the color from this camera is better than than that camera, so I like to use this camera. That's why. So I set the alarm, because if not, we'll be talking and we get none of the footage.
It'll give us a chance to take a break and really kind of check in and know what time it is and all of that as well. But I was saying, set an alarm so that you don't have to keep up with the time. The alarm will tell you what the time is, and just start. And know before you start, it's going to be uncomfortable. Okay, this is not going to be comfortable. However, the more I do it, the better I will feel.
Okay, I'm gonna set a goal for 1 week straight. At the end of the week, I'm gonna text you.
Okay.
I already know, girl.
Go into it with a positive mindset. I know I just said, you're gonna think this is gonna be hard, but follow that up with something positive. This is going to be a challenge. But I'm going to, do well. It takes practice. It's a new habit. It's really developing a new habit. And so if you find yourself struggling, you just keep working at it. Those of us that ride bikes, we didn't just get on the bike and start riding. We had to fall a bit. We had to struggle. We're wobbling, walking. We didn't just get up one day and start walking. Everything that we've mastered started somewhere kind of wobbly,
Yes,
even with you and your YouTube channel. I bet, you look at those first videos and look at the videos now.
So I haven't looked, I'm going to do a whole video, and the only thing I'm going to do on that video, and I'm happy to wait till my husband is here, we're going to watch our very first video. I'm already, the thought of this really made me want to cringe. I haven't seen it since. I don't even remember what it was. I think I remember what it was, but
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be difficult to watch.
But see, even with that, you didn't start off just making fabulous videos. You started somewhere that was a little wobbly and a little shaky, and you got better and better and better and better. It's the same thing with developing rest, a period of rest. Chronic fatigue, frequent sickness, insomnia. I hear a lot and I see quite a bit. The little bit that I am on social media, people talking about insomnia. They can't sleep. They can't sleep. They either can't fall asleep or they wake up in the middle of the night. And I see that frequently amongst my age group of people that just can't sleep. And it's because we go, and then we expect to just shut off just like that, you know. One of the things that used to be much worse than it is now is me just staying asleep. I wake up early. My parents wake up early. It's just something that I've done. But the sleep that I get is now quality sleep. It used to not be quality. And that's because I'm trying to sleep and also think about everything I need to do tomorrow and everything I didn't get done today. And I'm trying to do all of that while I'm sleeping. And so you're not truly resting. And so if you find yourself struggling to sleep, you're struggling with insomnia and you have a lot going on and you don't get good quality rest, I encourage you to start with a bedtime routine. We do this for babies. Okay. We do this for children, but when we become adults, we kind of get away from the bedtime. We don't need a bedtime. I'm an adult, you know? And we don't have a routine. However, if you start maybe an hour before you want to be asleep. So if you want to be
an hour,
start with an hour.
Yes, ma'am.
You know,
You're
just
you're the expert.
Just kind of winding down. And so we watch television, we're looking at movies, we're scrolling social media, we're on YouTube, and we're doing all of that up until the time we want to close our eyes and go to sleep. And we're not giving our bodies an opportunity to really get in rest mode and sleep mode. And so again, the car analogy, if you're riding with me and I just stop just like that, you'll be like, girl, what's wrong with you? But that's what we do to our bodies. We actually slow down. We use the brake to slow down and then we stop. And that's normal, right? In a car, it's the same thing with us. So developing a routine where maybe you turn the TV off or whatever it is you do. You get off of social media or whatever. If you like to shower at night, maybe some time of, you know, taking your shower and kind of winding down and allowing yourself to slow down and then sleep.
Girl, not me taking my cell phone in the bathroom and having it on so I can hear it while I'm in the shower. I do every night.
She says she doesn't rest and because you're taking everything with you. You're going, and then bam, you're slamming on the brakes.
I need to cut it off and leave my phone outside of the room with the alarm on so that I can, actually my body wakes up about 6:30 every morning, but just leave it outside of the room so I can just wind down.
And start small, you know, just not taking your phone to the bathroom even when you're just going to the bathroom. We're in this time now where we're always accessible, right? So you're taking a shower or you're sitting on the toilet or, you know, and you have your phone right there, or you don't have it and you hear it. So now you're trying to rush through your shower and you're trying to rush through everything, your makeup and everything you're trying to do because you have to get to that call. There's voicemail.
People still use voice. Why?
Not really. They can leave a message.
Now we just text each other. I called you. Okay.
Right. They'll be there and available whenever you can get there. But we're in this quick, go, and it's leading us straight to burnout. Okay. And those are some little things. Leave your phone upstairs and go and do what you need to do downstairs for a moment, or just don't take it in the bathroom at night while you're showering. I won't. One Sunday we were leaving and we were headed to church and I left my phone at home and I just was not going to go back and get it. And that was the most peaceful time and a peaceful moment because nobody could reach me, which they shouldn't be trying to reach me on a Sunday morning anyway, right? But I didn't have anything to look at. And so I get home, someone had texted me and said, I need you to do blah, blah, blah. And then somebody else had been sending text messages about things that go on in church, right? Oh. I missed all of that. And I was fully engaged. And I was like, man, this was wonderful. Because I left it at home. It was an accident, but it was just wonderful to not be accessible sometimes. So if you're struggling to rest, maybe give yourself some moments of being unaccessible. Mm-hmm. Do not disturb. It's set on my phone. So from 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. my phone does not ring.
Mine is on do not, except for you can set it where only certain people can call.
Yes, I do have exceptions. Yes. And those are the people that live in my house, of my parents.
That's it.
That's it. And so there is a trick to do not disturb where people can get through. I don't even tell them, because if you call twice in like 15 minutes, I think it'll ring. Oh. But I don't even tell people that.
Now they're going to see.
Now they're going to see and they're going to know. I still won't answer. But even if you need to turn on do not disturb, let's say your time is from 1 to 1:15. I'm just going to be unaccessible. If you don't have the willpower, if you don't think you can do it, it's new, you're kind of shaky, you're uncomfortable, put your phone on do not disturb. It won't ring, and then you can go back and turn it back on. Practice. Don't think you have to go from zero rest to resting the whole day. You don't have to do that, because that is scary to think. You want me to, to do that. It's like going cold turkey from caffeine. Or, you know what I mean? You know how difficult that, they tell you not to stop your meds, just, cold turkey. So you don't have to build a life of rest just like that. You can practice and get to it. Some people, do you know when you are approaching burnout or you're in?
I would have no clue.
No clue?
Because at some point in my life, there have been periods when I've probably experienced all of them and did not know. And, to be honest, since I've been with Ben, he's recognized and he's tried, but the pushback that I give, you're like, you are so difficult. The pushback that I give, I feel bad for him now. But no, I wouldn't recognize it.
Yeah.
Now that I know, it probably would just go over my head. I'd be like, oh, that's what it is. Once someone pointed out,
right.
I'd be like, oh, okay, I get it now.
Right.
But for sure, I've experienced all of those things at once.
Yeah.
More than once in my life.
Yeah.
But, there was one time when I did recognize I was, but I was done. That's when I took a job in Saudi Arabia, because I was sick of everybody and everything. I just knew I just needed to get away. I have to get away. I can't. I feel like I was just being pulled. Like there were people just holding on to my clothes and they were just dragging me.
Definitely burnout.
And I was exhausted physically and mentally. I just felt like I just need to run away. As a grown woman in my 40s, I just need to get away. God, please, I just need to get away. And so, and that was some rest. And it was really hard at first because I didn't know anyone, even though I met people like the day I got there. But like on the weekends, I was just there, and I couldn't call anyone at home because there was an 8-hour difference. So if I wake up in the morning, it was 2 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock in the morning here. So there was nobody to talk to. So that was really challenging for me to get used to. But then shortly thereafter, I got friends, and because everybody worked not 9 to 5, everybody worked. They're usually 7 to 4. They wanted to be out every weekend, so there was always stuff to do. But I got a lot of rest. For the first time since I was 15, since before I started working as a 16-year-old, that I have time to do nothing. Like a full weekend of just doing nothing. Multiple weekends in a row. It was a challenge to get used to be honest with you. But then I learned to enjoy it, and I was able to rest. My soul was able to rest for a long period of time, even before, because I got there in January. I didn't meet Ben until August. I had months that I got to rest and do nothing. It was really nice. It was.
How did you feel, like, looking back? Do you ever wish you could go back to that place of rest?
No, I think, no, I feel like I didn't set boundaries.
Okay.
Now I'm at a place where I'm like, no, I can set boundaries.
Good.
Now. My lack of rest now is probably more of habit than anything else. But on multiple occasions, I've gotten, if my husband's at home and he's like, let's go somewhere, I'll grab my pocketbook, get in the car, and then we get 5 miles from home. I'm like, where's my phone at? My phone is at home. And we just laugh about it because my daughter lives across the street. If something happens, my mama will call her. She'll call my phone. I don't answer. She'll call Ben. So it's just, I'm able to just, so nobody else can contact me.
Yeah.
Like if an emergency happens, everybody will be able to find him to find me.
Right.
But I'm able to relax, and I don't have my phone. I'm not scrolling. I'm just being in the moment, enjoying him. And so I get relaxation that way. But I'm sure there are times when I'm getting to a place of burnout where I'm getting forgetful. I can't remember things. I can't sleep. I'm tired, but I can't sleep. Then I'm frustrated at myself because I can't sleep and I'm tired. And it's just a vicious circle. And then he's trying to tell me you need to rest, but I'm pushing back. But I've grown since I've gone there. I've taught myself to set boundaries, to say enough is enough. And then financially I can just like, even if I do a staycation, I can go to a hotel somewhere and just rest if I need to. But in the place now where my husband's gone 1 week and he's home the next, so the week he's gone, and especially when school is in, I'm at home alone, so I have a lot of time alone but then I'm on the computer all the time. But, no, I don't wish to go back there. I just things have changed so much, but the biggest change is I know how to set boundaries now. Where I can say stop. I can't do that. No, I'm not coming. No, I'm not doing. I cannot. And without explanation, no, I can't.
Definitely without explanation.
And not feel bad about it.
Yes. We do tend to either not set boundaries, or we feel bad when we
feel very guilty when for saying no.
Right.
And saving yourself.
Right. Yeah. Right. That's one of the main steps to getting yourself out of burnout. You know, we talk about rest, but it's like, how do you do that? And we talked about starting with baby steps, right? But setting those boundaries. Boundaries are everything, but we see boundaries as a bad word. You know, we see them as problematic. Somebody's gonna be mad at me, you know, or I want to keep the peace, or I don't know how to say no. But boundaries are not bad at all. Boundaries are all around us. You know, these walls are boundaries that separate this room from that room, you know, and boundaries are for us. They are not for the other person. So I'm glad to hear that you have boundaries setting down pat, because that's where a lot of us struggle. And we just move, and you're already, you know, overloaded. And someone says, well, can you? And so you say, well, okay. And so then you add something else to your to-do list, and then you add something else to your to-do list. So boundaries is definitely the key. You know what I learned? I don't know where I learned it though. For people who struggle with that and saying yes immediately, you can say, well, let me check my schedule. And then that says that I'm not saying no, but I'm not saying yes, but it gives me an opportunity to step back and get a breather. And then I can later on unfortunately I can't. So you're not, even if you just don't want to see that person's face when you say no right then you can chicken out and send a text message later, but still you're still saving yourself. So this, to me, is really not chicken out. It's you're putting yourself as a priority. And I had to learn to do that. Like I can't, because if I can't take care of me, I can't serve you to the best of my capability. So I had to learn how to set boundaries for myself. That's good. And the answer may still be yes, but you give yourself time to determine what the answer needs to be without pressure. So yes, that's very good. This microwave society, you know, we want things, you know, right now, but that is a good answer. Let me check my schedule, or can I get back to you? That's a good way to give yourself a break, give yourself, allow yourself to pause so that whatever your response is, it is the response that you intend to give. Because when people are sitting there looking at you and they're waiting on the response,
the pressure is on.
Yes, then you're like, okay, and you're thinking, man, I wish I hadn't have said that. So you are giving a response. You're giving into that pressure of they need to hear something, and the something is, let me get back with you. So that's good. Let me check my schedule. That's really, really good. The other thing that's important is self-care, and we don't do that well as a community of humans, not even just Black women, but or women in general, but a community of humans. We don't take care of ourselves, and we've talked about that this whole time. But self-care, we think it's much bigger than what it is, and I talked about just taking 5 minutes in the car or what have you. But the other thing that's important about self-care is what you need for self-care is fluid. It varies. What you need right now in this moment may not be what you need tomorrow. And so people try to put self-care in a box, like oh, I need some self-care, let me go get some. And it doesn't work that way. Stop and ask yourself, what do I need right now in this moment? And then that is what you give yourself. What could you use? Does your brain need a break? Sometimes I've been on the phone at work all day, and I've had to answer this question and put out this fire and deal with this and deal with that. And what I need right now in this moment is a mental break. And so I will put on an audiobook. I love to read. I don't have the time to read like I used to, like a hard copy book. And so I got into audiobooks.
I love audiobooks.
So while I'm driving or while I'm cooking dinner, I can still listen to my book. But if I need a mental break, I can put on an audiobook and I listen to trash. Because when you've spent years and years in school, I'm reading so that I can help people. I'm reading narratives and reading about families. The trash is the furthest that's away from my reality.
It's for entertainment and just
it's for entertainment only. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to remember it, And so I put on something and I'm listening to this book, and it's allowing my mind to rest because I don't have to retain it.
Because it's not real. It's just
exactly. I don't have to retain it. It's entertaining. And so I will put on an audiobook. If you don't like audiobooks, maybe just music to give your brain a rest. You don't have to think about what it is you need to do. Maybe you don't like books or music. Maybe you can just sit and just close your eyes. A lot of people get into meditation, and meditation is healthy for those who like to meditate, to give your brain a rest. Sometimes you need food or water.
What about, I'm not, if someone asks me to meditate, that is going to feel like torture to me. If you ask me to sit down and sit still, I'm going to feel frustrated and irritated. That doesn't feel like peace to me. For me, I'm a creative. I am a true creative. So I need to be doing something. But for me to sit down and crochet, or me to go outside in the garden and dig in the garden is my happy place. I would rather be outside in a garden than doing anything else. So as long as my hands are moving, I like cooking, but I want to clean the kitchen, so that's not gonna be. So, but my like sewing, even though I can't sew, if I pull a sewing machine out and I try to make something, that's going to make me happy. Gardening is going to make me happy. Crocheting and creating something is going to make that makes me happy. So it looks completely different for everyone. Sitting still does not make me happy at all. It really stresses me out, to be honest. Like, you want to go sit in a jacuzzi?
Right.
I've been there 10 minutes, like, oh my God, I could go be doing it. Like, I am not going to enjoy it. Then I'm make everybody else in the jacuzzi miserable. So this, I'm not going.
Right. And that's a good thing about knowing yourself. We talked a little bit about knowing yourself. You need to know that what self-care is for you is not self-care for me. And so you can say, no, that won't work for me. And it's okay that meditation does not work for you. It's okay that reading books does not work for you. But we think self-care is what everybody else is doing. If you think self-care is just a mani-pedi, then what do you do when you don't have the money? You don't have any self-care? No, not at all, you know. So really finding those things that you enjoy, those things that restore you. Self-care is about restoring you and rejuvenating you and putting back everything that you lost. Self-care could be girlfriend time. You can call a girlfriend over and say, hey, can we have a glass of wine and eat some popcorn or whatever. It could be girlfriend time. It could be going for a run. It could be sleeping. It could be sitting in the car for 5 minutes before you go into the house.
Who have done that many a day.
So one of the things I'm challenging myself, especially after yesterday, I was just like, okay, I'm just done. I'm drained, is not to get to a point of burnout and then try to restore. I'm challenging myself to do a little bit of self-care every day. And so I'm not saying that I won't ever get to burnout again, right? But if I do that every day, then those times of burnout will be less frequent.
Absolutely.
There are things at work we can't avoid and things that's happening in our country that we can't avoid that might get you there. But that's my challenge, and I challenge each of you to do something a little bit every day to make it a lifestyle, so that you're on a more, you know, life will never be just a straight line. But instead of all of this, you know, it's like this and then maybe one of the, you know, and just, because, you know, life is unpredictable and there are things out of your control. But ladies, it is important for you to take care of you. It is important for you to maintain your body and your mind and your spirit, and you are worth it. It's not something you have to earn. Oftentimes we think, oh, when I finish this, or when the kids are going off to college, or when this happens, or when that happens, then I will do this. You don't have to earn prioritizing yourself and taking a break and not getting to burnout. It's a gift that you give yourself every single day.
Way of looking at it.
Yes. So, any other questions? Anything else you think
I think that was enough. That was a lot.
That was a lot.
A gift. Self-care is a gift that you give yourself.
Yes.
I like that.
Yes.
I think that was fantastic. Thank you so much. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you for having
If
me.
you all have any questions, you can leave them in the comment section, and I'm sure you're going to go back and look at the comment section. And if I see any and she hasn't replied, then I'll hit her up. And I think somebody has a great question, so we'll be looking at the comment section trying to answer it. I can't answer the question for you. But I just want to thank you so much for being here. This has been wonderful.
Yes.
Maybe you'll come back and talk about something different at a later date.
Absolutely.
I greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye.